Hey guys, welcome back. Today we understand quickly what do you mean by absolute referencing, but with a mixed way of referencing. So you have your column as absolute and row as relative, and you have the row as relative and column as absolute. So what happens when you make a row as absolute? Absolute is you reference the dollar sign against a row. Yeah. So I have this dollar sign against a row. So it will make the row as absolute. And if I keep the dollar sign against the column, I make the column as absolute. But the other value is relative. So it will keep on changing as I move my row or copy my cell across different rows. Yeah. So if you see here, my row is changing, but my column is same. Wherever I put my formula here, yeah. See, my column is not changing, but my row is keeping dynamic, or it's keep on changing as I move my cell around, or as I keep my, or as I move my cell around. Yeah. Or I keep my row constant and keep my column moving. So if I do this, I have this formula exactly been copied here. But if I move this somewhere else, you can see the value is gone because my column has changed. My reference column was 20, which was in H column, and my row was fixed, which was first row, which is where my cell is in the first row. Yeah, my cell is in the right row, but my column is incorrect. Yeah. So here my column is referencing to L, which is incorrect. It should have referred H column, whereas my row is in the right row, which because I have referenced it with an absolute referencing. So this type of referencing where you have one value or the one referencing as relative and other as absolute, you call this as mixed referencing. Why do we use it? So sometimes it may happen that I have in the row column, I have this 10, 20. This is the quantity that I have purchased. And against it, I have the price. So I have 100, 200, 300, 400. Okay. Now I want to create only one formula which by just copy pasting will help me to get the right value against it. So suppose for 10 units, if I multiply it by 100, it should give me 1000. Yeah. If I multiply 20 by 100, it should give you 2000. Now, if a matrix is of 100 rows and columns, I cannot type this for each and every one. Yeah. Same way, if I have to see the here, put here, the value here, it is 10 into 200, it is again 2000. Yeah. How do we do it? So if I use relative referencing, so let's have the relative referencing first. So if I use is equal to this into the units, and now if I try to copy it here, it is giving me incorrect answer because 100 into 10 is 1000, but 200 into 10 is never 2 lakhs. It is supposed to be 2000. Yeah, that means it is giving me incorrect value because my cell reference is getting changed. So if I see here, so I need to make this unit value to be constant, wherein my rows are getting changed. Yeah. Same way, if I go here, I need to make my columns constant, wherein my rows are getting changed. Sorry, I need to make the row constant where my column is getting changed. So this is where our mixed referencing comes into picture. So what I'll do is I'll say is equal to 100. Yeah. While I go down, I do not want to change the column reference. So what I'll do is I'll keep the column constant. So I have kept the column constant into, I want to multiply it by 10, which is in rows. So I do not want to make the column constant. So I need to make my row constant. So I need to make the row constant. So I have made the row constant. Yeah. So I have got the answer. Now what we have done here is, let's understand the formula. In the first cell, since this particular value is in rows, so we have made the column constant. And since the above units are in columns, we have made the row constant because they are in the same row. Yeah, here the values are in the same column. Hence, we have made the column as constant and rows as constant for the units. So this is quantity and this is unit value. Yeah, since these are in rows, we have made it as the column as constant because we do not want the column to be changed. And here again, we have made the row constant because quantity are in the same row. Yeah, that's why I made the row constant. Now, if I try to copy this across, I do not need to change anything manually. You get the right answers. So 200 into 2000 is 12. Can see? So as I move my formula, my relative reference is keeping on changing for rows for the first part, that is value, and it is changing the column for the quantity part in the second part. So for every formula, as I move ahead anywhere in any of the cells down, I can see there is a relative reference change, whereas my absolute referencing is staying as it is. So this is a use case of mixed referencing. I use it mostly to create a lot of matrices and models in my formulas or in my Excel sheets. And hope this is specifically this is very important because this will help you to understand how you drag and drop your formulas or copy or paste your formulas by keeping the relevant columns or rows constant, which are being referenced to do certain calculations. Hope you understood the concept of this mixed referencing because this is very, very, very important. Yeah, I would suggest to go through this entire mixed referencing part once again, twice or thrice, so that you understand the concept of putting that dollar sign in the right place. Yeah, hope you like this video. Do like it, share it across with your colleagues who want to learn Excel. Uh, Comment if you want me to cover any of the topics that you like in this 365 days of Excel journey. And yes, do not forget to subscribe to my channel because that's how you will get all this informative videos directly to you. Thank you so much.